against Butte. They are undisputed there. Then out of the South, Mount SAC is the undisputed team. Conference play has just started, but, boy, they stand alone and they stand tall.
They stand very tall tonight, 47-14. But Long Beach stood tall as well, 62-7. They took it to L.A. Harbor. And I think this just sets up an offense versus defense matchup. Of course, the LBCC defense, they look good tonight, only limiting L.A. Harbor to 7 points. But at the end of the day, it's L.A. Harbor. Yeah. And I'm just so intrigued and I'm so anxious to see that Long Beach offense, which has a number of athletes on that side of the football, against this Mountie defense, which is just so tenacious, as you saw showcased once again here tonight, following up the performance at Ventura where they held the Pirates up there to 3 points.
Well, taking a look at Long Beach's schedule, they opened up with a big win against Moore Park and Palomar, but in their lone road game, they were at Bakersfield, only a 31-19 victory. Bakersfield is not even ranked in Southern California. And that offense couldn't even really get going until the fourth quarter. That Kenny Potter kid, he was solid, but boy did the running game really struggle. Only 4 yards a carry by them. I'm just taking a look and trying to nitpick here, and Long Beach is going to have their hands full, but it seems to me like while it has been ugly, they are 4-0. Mount SAC, if they're going to win the game, don't you think it's by that defense?
I'd have to think so. Defense wins championships, and let's face it, with Riverside losing against Grossmont last week, I think it might almost be a two-horse race.
It is
to win this conference.
It might be. I'm trying to take a look at division leaders right now, and there are a few. Golden West had a big win today, 41-6 victory home against Grossmont. They improved to 3-1 and open up with a conference win. Fullerton currently is up 30-17 against Orange Coast, who's a pretty darn good football team. They're 2-1 right now, but may drop another big matchup here at home. So that may be it for their attempts to try and get into the postseason there. But there's another big time football team that could make some hay is a Citrus College team that opened up with a big win. Albeit it was at home, but they had a big win against El Camino to help improve to 2-2. So there are about 4 or 5 other ball clubs, and I didn't even mention Riverside, that may potentially be on tap for a nice little playoff berth.
Well, certainly it's an intriguing matchup next week as
it is.
The Mount San Antonio College Mounties head on down to Long Beach to take on the Vikings. Brian, you got some stats.
Justin Allo. 3 touchdowns. He was sacked a couple times in this game. 265 yards, 15 of 24. Orozco got in on some action, 3 of 6 with a touchdown as well. That was I believe it was a 22-yard touchdown pass as Ryan Simpson in on the action receiving. Your top 4 receivers is Mackin with 106 and 2 touchdowns. Gilchrist had 63 yards and a touchdown as well, and 60 yards from Ryan Simpson as a receiver, and Antoine Anderson with 18 yards.
Well, I'm taking a look at these stats right now. Obviously, I thought the running game was great, but how about Justin Allo, 3 TDs on 265 passing through the air? He answered big questions today. Had a couple picks last week, but Allo is coming to the forefront. When you look at a Long Beach College team that, while some of their defenders are unheralded, they are still, one, a top-flight organization, and 2, one of the top defenses in JUCO ball. I think Justin Allo, against top-flight competition, Chaffey isn't a bad organization as well. He came through and he was able to pick apart a good Chaffey defense. So I think he answered questions about whether he can come to play against Long Beach.
Well, yeah, Allo, like we mentioned not too long ago, that he kind of had his a flat-footed start there with the offensive unit. And once he settled in, like you mentioned there, Nick, 3 touchdowns, 265 yards. He had that long bomb out to, I believe it was Mackin for 72 yards. So, Allo doing what he's supposed to do as a starting quarterback and get the job done on the offensive side for the Mounties.
And I know we're only 4 games into the season, and Justin Allo, he could be better. He could. And he's improving week by week. I think we see it, Brian. But is he a guy that you think at the quarterback position can make it back to the Division I level? I'm going to get both of your opinions on this. But Brian first, we know he went to the University of Hawaii. They saw him there as a wide receiver. He didn't really like that position, came back to Mount SAC. He's succeeding as a quarterback for the number 1 team in the state of California. Do you see him being able to get to that Division I level? Not Division I AA, not Division II, not the NAIA level, but the Division I level. Do you see him having the ability? Is he good enough at the quarterback position? We know he's a good enough athlete to be a Division I player, but at the quarterback position, has he answered some questions as far as that is concerned tonight?
I'm not sure yet. I'm going to take, what I've seen so far in the 3 games that we've called.
Maybe another week to figure it out, huh? Against Long Beach.
Well, not necessarily. Maybe, the season, there's still plenty of season left as well. Obviously, Long Beach will be the big test of the season after taking care of Chaffey Fullerton College of the Canyons, and Ventura also. But Long Beach will be the true test where Allo can really, right when the game starts, is play as well as he did in the second half. Let's see if that carries over to Long Beach City next week. As of right now, I don't believe so.
Well, what is interesting, though, I think Justin Allo reminds me of another man that is born down here in the South, Ryan Tannehill, who's now NFL quarterback. He played wide receiver and quarterback for Texas A&M, and I think he may be a better signal caller for it to be playing another position, so he understands the people that he's throwing to, I guess, 1. And 2, he has a running ability that we saw tonight. Allo may not have the big numbers. Allo did have 5 carries for 10 yards. I thought he converted some big third downs with his legs, and I think that's crucial in the high school and definitely the NCAA level. Is he a Division I quarterback? Personally, I don't think so, because Mount SAC is so talented. But if you're asking the question on if they can win a championship with him, absolutely. We saw it tonight.
Well, it was all Mounties tonight, 47-14, and we're going to try to get you a midweek show right here on Spreaker.com's own national sports and preview that big matchup next week with the Long Beach City College Vikings. I'll start with you, Nick. Final thoughts on tonight's 47-14 shellacking of Chaffey College Mt. SAC, 4-0 on the season. Going to play 4-0 Long Beach City College next week.
Well, my takeaway is that Mount SAC is everything that they are advertised. Personally, that defense is suffocating and, in my mind, the best in the Southland. They held this Chaffey team to only what looks to be about 12 points offensively for the game. They did have the 2 points.
And just one touchdown.
Yeah, and just one touchdown. It was a highly suffocating team. They wouldn't even allow Chaffey to get an extra point. I mean, that thing was no good, too. So I think, overall, Chaffey, they had their hands full tonight, and Mount SAC is exactly as advertised. Will they be able to win on the road against Long Beach next week? That is a tall order. But in my opinion, the favorite in that game has to be the Mounties.
And Brian, of course, this is our 3rd game calling Mountie football here on the Mountie Football Radio Network. We'll be with you the entire season right here on Spreaker.com's own national sports. But your takeaway on another dominant performance in this side, both sides of the football getting it done. Not just defense, but the offense had quite the showing tonight as well.
Yeah, and there's also that important first play of the game where they blocked a field goal attempt as well, did the Mount SAC special teams. So, like I mentioned throughout the broadcast, the offense had a little bit of time to really get things going here, and the defense really held strong and provided a spark that was needed by the Mounties. And then they just kind of sucker punched Chaffey in the mouth a little bit and got some great momentum going on the defensive end. So that kind of sparked the offensive unit just to get it going here. So once that was realized, the offense couldn't really get things going in the first half, and then you look at the defense and they do what they do, get to the quarterback and take care of things defensively. Not only was there, that blocked field goal attempt, there was that high snap that ended up right inside the 5-yard line. They also did force a fumble as well. And what a crazy game this was. to put up
It
those
was
kind of
wacky.
points with 47 points total for Mount SAC tonight. They did it in an unordinary fashion, but that's what's dangerous about this team is that it wasn't always a long run, a long potent run by Tolbert or Vaughns or a big reception by Gilchrist or Antoine Anderson or Mackin. It was just an all-around effort on all sides of the ball tonight, and it was very impressive, and they deserve to be 4-0, and they deserve to be ranked where they're ranked, and we deserve to get a nice little treat next week in Long Beach.
Absolutely. It's going to be quite the battle. Please join us next week. It's another 6 p.m. kickoff right here on Spreaker.com's own national sports. Brian Tabajay and I will have a call. Nick Rice, great job tonight with the stats and all the information from around the JUCO world. For Brian Tabajay, I'm Chris Sylvester signing off tonight on Spreaker.com's own national sports. A reminder, next week, the Mounties at 4-0 travel to take on the Long Beach City College Vikings, also at 4-0. The Mounties tonight defeating the Chaffey College Panthers 47-14. They move to 4-0 on the season and will retain that #1 ranking in the state of California for another week. That's all we have for you tonight from Hilmer Lodge Stadium in Walnut, California, 47-14. The Mounties get it done. They're 4-0. We'll see you next week in Long Beach. Good night.